So, hello and welcome back to our Studio Bosch here in Kista in our demo room. I hope you enjoyed the previous sessions we had here with the different topics we covered. Today, me and Roger will be taking you through a journey of a very interesting and special tool that we have created for you. This tool is really about simplifying the planning of a project, the installation, commissioning, and also reporting. And this combined will probably give you a lot better way of planning your complete delivery and how to also make it a quality approved solution that you are deploying to your customers. This is a solution that we're actually combining with the software we call Project Assistant tool. We're adding nice bits and pieces from the remote portal, and we will also in the end show you parts of the configuration manager and one of the softwares you can use to view live and recorded video from your solutions and your projects. Starting out this small journey, I would like just to give you a few brief things when it comes to the delivery of Bosch products. All Bosch products we have, when it comes out of the box, have a few things that are in common. Doesn't matter if it's the 3000i series, the entry-level camera, or if it's the FLEXIDOME 8000i. We have packed in a few small things that might be really important for you to use, depending on how you're planning and how you're setting up your systems. Because in each and every box, there is a sticker packed. This sticker has a QR code. It has a serial number, the MAC address, and all the information that is needed to make a good planning and a good reporting of your solution. If you do this with the FLEXIDOME 8000i, it also contains the credentials and the information about the wireless interface we have on the FLEXIDOME 8000i. So this small sticker is really nice to have. You don't have to have it, but it's a nice tool depending on how you set up your system. Roger will talk about that a bit more later. The Project Assistant tool that can run on a PC, Windows PC, it can run on a tablet of Android, it can be iOS, it can be a mobile phone. We have several different ways of deploying the solution on a hardware-based solution platform. It really gives you the opportunity to plan your solution in a different way than you did in the old days. I'm a quite old guy, and when I did the installation of cameras a long time ago, I usually had a pre-packed camera in a box marked with the address, the IP address, where to put it, where to install it, and it took quite a lot of time to do this. What we will give you now is a tool to simplify your installation process. You can probably use this in the way you have been doing before, but I think after this session you will have a completely different view of how you can make your installation a bit simpler. A good way of sharing and synchronizing information between the project manager, the installers, and also the guys making the commissioning out on site. It's a really nice way of synchronizing the information for this. When you're done with the installation, you will also see a brilliant way of creating a report that contains all the information of the program cameras, snapshots, reference pictures, firmware versions, serial numbers, and all the things you need to make a good and decent report of your project. And it doesn't matter if you do it with the Bosch software or a third-party software from another manufacturer, you can still use this one. In the presentation video, we will also demonstrate Dropbox connectivity. That is one way of synchronizing and sharing information between different parts of the company. But you can also use a simple import and export of a standard file. You can use it by a USB stick, you can email it, you can do whatever you like. You have the possibility to do with Excel or a CSV file. So there are several different ways of how to share the information between you. It doesn't have to be Dropbox. It's just one example we will use when we're demonstrating a video for you soon. That is the basic foundation of the Project Assistant tool. What you also will see later on is the connectivity together with the remote portal. I don't want to take too long time to do that, but I would just briefly like to mention it because that will give you the extra part that is really giving you way of how to maintain your solution and systems in a very nice way. So what we will do is, during the demonstration Roger will do, I will go and disconnect a couple of cameras so you will see how it looks like later on in the remote portal when we do that. So enough talking by the guy in front of the PowerPoint. I think it's time for Roger to, and we actually prepared this quite a bit. So we have a solution set up here, and we would like to take you through a typical way of how to make a quick installation with the Project Assistant tool. And later on, after that one, we'll also show you the outcome when we have done that. So now it's time for me to relax and for Roger to start working. So Roger, over to you, and I really hope that everything works now like when we tested it.
Thank you, Anders. Now we're going to go into Project Assistant workflow. First of all, we're going to create and pre-configure a project at the office. We have the PC software installed here. We choose Project Assistant and continue. We're going to use the cloud service to synchronize our project via Dropbox with our installers. So now we can enter a project name and also a project password. This is specific to this project. It's not related to the devices. We also click on auto sign in, so we don't have to put the password in every 5 minutes. Press OK to continue. Now we have the project information. Customer information is already there, the name and the location. And we press next. And here we set up the remote portal, because we're going to configure this system to the remote portal so we can remotely monitor it and administer it. We then enter the device passwords. Each device has a service, user and live password setting. You need to enter each of these ones into the project. Next, we move on to the network settings. So we're going to set an IP address range, a fixed IP address range. We also need to set the subnet mask as appropriate for the network, the gateway address and the DNS server address. This information can come from your network administrator. We're also going to use an NTP server to synchronize everything time-wise onto the system. And then we press done. Now we're going to add some cameras into the system. We add them manually. So all we need to do is give the camera a name. So you can match up the names to your drawing of your system. And as you can see, the other information is automatically added into each device. Then we go back to the overview and we add in our second camera. So we add camera manually. So we can do all this without even having to have the cameras in front of us. We go step by step through each of the cameras. And we're just planning the system at this stage. You know that, for example, there's going to be one at the door, one in the garage, one at the main gate. And so your names should match that. And you build up the plan according to your drawings of the site. Now we've created 4 cameras. So the next thing we can do is synchronize that to the cloud and send it to the Dropbox account. That makes it available to our installers. We can also then export the project by clicking at the icon at the bottom, export the project or a report. We can choose where we want to export it to, give it a name. We're going to put it on desktop this time and save it to the desktop. So we've got a record of the system that we're sending out to our installer. Now we're going to switch to the installer site. The installer has an iPad in this case. So they basically already set up the Project Assistant app and synchronized it with Dropbox. So when they connect to the Wi-Fi, they can just pick up from the cloud the project, which is customer A that we created. And there we can see the 4 cameras that were planned in the office. Then we need to add the cameras into the system, so we can scan the network if they're already installed, or we can add them by QR code if they're not. Then we just choose a camera from the drop-down list and add it in the respective name, so you have the right camera in the right location. This is repeated camera by camera until you have a completed list. As you can see in the drop-down list, you can choose multiple methods of finding the camera: QR code, scan the network, IP address, or if there's Wi-Fi built into the camera, you can use that as well. So we can very quickly build up our system without having to use any other tools, just your iPad and the pre-configured file. Everything's automatically set. Now this is all set up, so the cameras are now rebooting or restarting with the settings that we've applied for the network. Now we need to write the configuration. When we checked at the bottom of the screen here, we have write configuration. So we need to write the configuration to each camera. And then you get a status report back at the top of the screen. Now we're configuring remote portal. So we enable that on each of the cameras we want to access via the remote portal. We just go into remote portal and select on. It takes a few seconds to connect. But from the remote portal, we can monitor the live view. We can monitor recording. We can also monitor the status of the camera itself and manage it remotely. So for example, if your installer has a service, they can actually check the status of the cameras and manage them remotely and handle any incidents if the camera appears to be offline or there's another problem with it. Maybe just check the SD card status if you have SD cards installed or something similar to that. Now we're on to camera 4, almost at the end of this small project. It takes a little bit of time to add each one into the remote portal, but it's much quicker than doing it in a manual process. So here we have a FLEXIDOME 8000i in the image settings. We choose the operation mode. We can choose the resolution and frame rate. We can also choose the image settings. And then we can go into the image alignment and we can align the camera. This being an 8000i has motorized pan, tilt and roll functionality so that it automatically senses what's vertical, so you don't have to be physically on site to install it. We can do this all from the iPad. Then we select the area we want to be viewing and the camera automatically adjusts its position to get the optimum picture of the red area we selected. And at the end, zooms in and automatically focuses and gets the optimum focus for the scene. We calibrate the height for analytics, the measured height of the camera, and then we can adjust, if we need to, fine adjust the focus and zoom to get it exactly as the customer wants it. Focus can be automatic or can be manually adjusted. At the end of this setting, we can disable the Wi-Fi built into the camera if we want to keep it secure, but you don't have to do that. Then we can export a report of the project now we're complete. We can export it locally or to Dropbox. You choose the type of report, press on export, and that's automatically uploaded to the Dropbox account. The project manager or the planner can see the status of the report at the end of the day. And here's a copy of the PDF document created in the report. It shows all the camera information, also a picture of what the camera saw or is looking at, and then that gives us a very conclusive overview of what's on the customer site, so you can be 100% sure that what you requested is what you've got. Also, you can send a report to the customer locally, creating a report. Put in a name and press export. And it'll export a document locally that you can either email or pass on to the customer directly or the local representative of the company. So that gives you a quick overview of what Project Assistant app from Bosch can do for you and help your workflow in your daily installation and project design phases. And now back to Anders.
Thank you, Roger. That was really nice. So now you got a preview of how you can do stuff that Roger done. Roger will now go and disconnect 2 cameras because we have a plan to show you a few things how it looks like in the remote portal as well. So we will disconnect 2 cameras from the site. So what you saw was that Roger was pre-configuring the cameras without having the cameras. That is really important. Depending on how you would like to do your installations, you can do it in advance, but you can also do it on site. It doesn't really matter. If you do it on site, you will have a nice tool to create a nice report. It doesn't really matter if you're the man in the van or if you're part of a huge installation team that does this from a central project manager that sends the information to the different installers, or if you're just the guy in the van who's traveling around and do it yourself. If you have a distributor, well, you might think that this distributor can do stuff for you as well. So it's a very flexible tool that gives you the opportunity to plan your installation and to have better quality installations also with the reporting tool. That is how we see it. We believe that we might change a little bit from the past when I was installing cameras, when we marked the cameras in a very old-fashioned way, to the way that you can do it today. Another thing that Roger was showing was that he was scanning the network and adding the IP addresses. That is really why I was talking about the QR codes, because you saw in that part that you could also use the QR codes to find your cameras. So if you don't have the cameras on the installation site, but you have all the boxes, you can take the sticker, you can use the sticker and put them either on your blueprint or something else in your documentation to know exactly what camera is going to be placed where. But you don't need to do that, because with this tool, you can choose on the fly. So the QR code is really flexible as well. In this demonstration, we deliberately installed the FLEXIDOME 8000i in a very bad way, in bad position. And as what you could see, we can, with this PTR set camera, we could completely move it around and make all the installation things, including the aiming on the camera on a distance. But that will be more about that one on the session of the FLEXIDOME 8000i. That will be a dedicated and separated seminar. So Roger is back. Then I would like to briefly and quite quickly show you how it looks like in the remote portal. You remember that Roger was creating a customer A, and this is how it looks like in the remote portal right now. We have created a group, and this group, that is Roger's group, is containing customer A. So if we click on that one, you can see that we have 4 cameras out of 2 that is showing a malfunction. And this is what happens when you're disconnecting cameras. You will have the possibility to receive information by email if you have a malfunction in your system. That's a part of the remote portal. So it's a really nice way of doing this. If you're working in a central way, where you have made the project first, send out the information to the installer, connected it to the remote portal, you can also use the configuration manager as a software to connect to the cameras through the remote portal and into your site. So here you can see a view of your customer A, and you can do all configuration, every settings you would like to do through the dedicated configuration tool we have within Bosch. So here you can set up everything. Really nice way of doing this remotely. So it's a way of improving also the aftermarket with your customers and to make sure that we are having a good quality in the system. Nice picture you're showing, Roger. I will also now, very briefly, because before we end, show a little bit how it looks like from a tablet device. So what Roger also showed you was that through Configuration Manager, you could see everything and do all the configuration. I will just briefly demonstrate and show you how it looks like with the other tools we are able to use together with the Project Assistant app or Assistant tool and the remote portal. And what you can see here is, first of all, Project Assistant. So in here, we have the project we created before. We made it in the PC, we have it synchronized by Dropbox, and now it's in my tablet. So it's really simple to do it. Doesn't matter if it's an Android or a iOS, but you can use the tablets or a PC if you would like to. If you don't like to do this, use a PC, export the file, and as you can see down here, you can import the file, and it's really simple to use if you don't want to use Dropbox. That's one point. You can also use the software Video Security client, and what we have done is that we have created a customer. You can see it down here with all your other customers. So this end user just have to click on his account to connect to his site, and there he will be able to see his cameras he has been commissioned for him. You as the system integrator is making all the configuration of what users who should be able to use what cameras. And this camera, for example, is a moving camera in our demo room here in Kista, so I can move it around. This could be anywhere in the world, but I'm just controlling it through this app on my device through the remote portal in a very secure way. These ones, the final ones I was demonstrating, the Video Security client, the remote portal and configuration manager, including with the remote portal, will be also in a later webinar. Thank you for viewing and watching. I really hope it was a interesting and informative session. I think these small things like software tools are equally important as really, really good cameras and low price of the products. I think these ones will make you to have a simplified installation, simplified planning, simplified commissioning and reporting, and also to do maintenance remotely. So thank you from Kista. Have a good and safe day, and let's see you soon. Bye.